Good morning and welcome to this week's Downtown Download. We will begin in about 1 minute. Let's see. Good morning. Good morning. We were just I know the attendees are coming in. Thank you so much for joining us on this week's Downtown Download. I'm Shalonda Stokes, President of Downtown Partnership, joined as always by Councilman Eric Costello and a special guest. And I know you can see our special guest, but I'll introduce her in a moment. Just want to let you know that when we started these webinars earlier this past spring, we had no idea that we still be here in October. But we're here and we have a seriously strong run of show, and we're here because you keep asking us to be here. So thank you. Please continue to tell us what you want to hear. Please continue to put your questions in the Q&A box, and we'll make sure that we get to them. A run of the show, just so that you know, and I know we do this every week, I'll open, just give you a little bit about what we have happening here, transition it to Councilman Costello, who will tell you a little bit about what's happening in the city overall, and then he will interview our special guest, and we'll, at the end, make sure that we leave time for Q&A. And so please, if you have questions along the way, put them in the questions and answer box, and then we'll get to them towards the end of the show. So just a few weeks ago, Baltimore City Public Schools began the most complicated, probably unusual start in its history. So all summer long, there was uncertainty, would school start? Would it be in person? Would it be virtual? And so from a planning standpoint, that's a lot that's going on. And so Baltimore City Public Schools CEO, Dr. Sonja Santelises, had to lead a contingency plan for just about any possibility. And so, you're working with teachers, it's parents, the national expert, Dr. Santelises and her team developed a specialized curriculum. So they created a plan to provide technology, web hotspots for children who didn't have physical tools needed for online learning. And they even addressed issues around school lunch programs for families with food insecurity. So all of that sort of moving parts. And so she's been with the Baltimore City Public School System since 2010. And when she became the chief academic officer then, and previously she was vice president of K-12 policy at the Education Trust. That's a national nonprofit helping students from low-income families to close the achievement gaps. So Dr. Santelises was also the assistant superintendent for teaching and professional development in Boston Public School before becoming the assistant superintendent of a network of 23 pilot schools focusing on improving the achievement gap of low-income students, particularly students of color. So we have a lot to go into there. To everyone who's joined us this morning, particularly the parents in our audience, we want to hear from you. I invite you to join the conversation by posing questions for Dr. Santelises or Councilman Costello. Only leave the easy questions for me, but you do them all using our Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen. So before we begin the conversation with our guests, Councilman Costello, I know you have a few timely announcements, so I'll get to them. I just want to let you know that the team here at Downtown Partnership has really been incredibly busy. Our operations team took their usual cleaning game to the next level. We have a special volunteer day that we'll talk about towards the end of the day. I'll come back and tell you a little bit about what we have going on. I know people have been enjoying the parklets, the outdoor dining, all of the things that's been going on there. And we also had our first virtual Black Business Friday, and that was to highlight a few of the super talented Black entrepreneurs in our city. So it was maker demos, interviews, and online marketplace. Music, we had DJ 5-Star, and so we'll be hosting another one to help with the holiday shopping list, a lot more there, so stay tuned. And now, Councilman Costello, because I could talk all day, but I won't. I want to transition it over to you. Can you tell us what you have happening in the city today?
Thank you, Shalonda. Yeah, I'm already stretching out for the next Downtown Partnership cleanup, so I'm looking forward to that. Really looking forward to getting out there and doing some cleaning with you all next week. I'm going to put a couple links in the chat window. The first is the Mayor's Outdoor Seating Heating Solutions Program, which, Shalonda, you need no introduction on it because you helped me develop that program for Mayor Young. But we rolled that out, I think, last Wednesday. We finally got the FAQ out last evening. So if you're a restaurant, you're looking for some type of outdoor heating solution, this link right here is where you go to. We've also posted a link to baltimoretogether.com and our work on the Small Business Recovery Task Force. Shalonda co-chairing that together. As you're aware, we just announced that there is going to be an additional $2 million in grants to small businesses available. So that's posted as well. So those will not be on a first come, first served basis, similar to the previous rounds. We've found that that's been more effective and more inclusive. So that's all I have for the city updates now. Back to you before we get to our guest.
So I've already given the overall introduction, Dr. Santelises. I thank you for joining us this morning. As we mentioned, we'll continue to get some questions and answers in here. If there's anything that we don't ask you and you want to make sure we know, I'm sure you will let us know. So thank you for joining us this morning. Councilman Costello, you want to take it away?
Thank you very much. Dr. Santelises, always a pleasure to be with you. We are so appreciative for what you do for our city and for our young people and know how busy you are. So we're really excited about today's webinar. We're going to jump right into it. This is obviously a very challenging and a very unusual school year, unlike any that we've had before. How did you prepare going into it, and what have you learned so far?
No, well, first, let me just say it's wonderful to be here. It's great to see you, Shalonda, Councilman Costello. Thanks for having me, because it's a great opportunity to get the word out, and appreciate you all's time as well. So, no, as you all know, we, like the rest of the, I won't even say state, the rest of the country, had to rush during the spring to kind of get things up and running. I will be very honest, initially, I had a friend in the health profession tell me back in February that they saw this going on at least another year. I poo-pooed it, and lo and behold, you know, I thought, oh, if we could just get to the spring, we can start with a normal school year. And now we all know that's not the case. I will say, what was very helpful during the spring was the opportunity to get feedback from families, from teachers, from school leaders, to really help us plan going into this school year. So first, and no surprise, I think, to either of you or many people, we knew that technology was going to have to be a mainstay. It was going to have to be really the major way that we were going to be able to connect during a time where we knew at best we would have limited opportunities to be back in person. And so we began some of that lift in the spring. Shout out to you, councilmen, and your colleagues on the city council, Mayor Young. Really, you know, you all joined in as well with your $3 million contribution to providing technology for our young people. And I'm pleased to say that since the spring, we have now given out close to 44,000 devices to city school students. So that began in the spring, really ramped up during the summer, and the last month or so of school has just accelerated even more. We are still awaiting some of those devices, but we are in far better shape than we were in the spring, and we knew that was going to be, you know, that was going to be a major issue. The second piece that we knew is overwhelmingly our parents, families told us that spring was, they were incredibly appreciative of how much teachers, school leaders, educators really turned around a lot on a dime, but they were also clear that they couldn't do school the way they did it in the spring, that if we were going to be virtual, it would need to be more robust. We took that feedback. I will tell you, as the mom of city school students, I too felt that way. The story I love to tell is one of my younger daughters said to me, "Mom, posting assignments online is not teaching. So if this is what school is going to be, I'm checking out," right? And her mother's the CEO. And, you know, so that kind of resonated with a lot of folks. And I'm really pleased to say that our teachers kind of echoed that. And they said, we need more training. We need more professional development. This was not the way that most city schools teachers were prepared to teach. And so our teachers stepped up. We had professional development days at the end of the year, the beginning of the year, really wanting to, orient to online platforms. And so I'm real pleased to say that the feedback overall for the beginning of the school year has been far more instructional time. Even my girls have to close their mouths now because they're like, we're cool, so can't really get on you about that one anymore, Mom. Homework is now due. I think the other piece that we see is teachers are more comfortable with the online platforms, but I will also say so are families. And even with that, we know it's still a challenge for certain learners, right? So I knew for our littlest people, right? So our kindergartners, our pre-Kers, the time online is still challenging. It is not the way that we design early learning education, right? It's designed to be a time for young students to interact and learn socialization. That has been challenging. We know that for a number of our students with disabilities, this has been a particularly challenging time, particularly the most severe disabilities. And then we also know that parents need more support for how to navigate this new world of online. We had many families who, because they didn't even have access devices, when you're giving, believe me, I am not a tech aficionado, but even trying to navigate 3 or 4 programs, we had new security walls. So, students were getting kicked out of, virtual classrooms as we were really working on our system. So it's not to say that everything is perfect. We know that we have to do more of that. We're actually doing a virtual back to school night. I'll have to check my my notes for when that's coming. But a lot of that is being driven by the fact that we know families are going to need more support. We've got 83 meal sites open this fall, so we were really happy to do that and be able to do that. We're still kind of waiting for the uptick around that. And since Councilman Costello is who I get to report to when I present the budget each year, I know he is particularly attuned, as a number of folks are, to some of the budget challenges. And I think part of what folks saw when we needed to release some of our temporary employees that, I'm hoping we'll be able to bring back at some point. But what we saw was some of the same tightening that I know the city has had to do in terms of preparing for the additional expenses of PPE. So in order to make buildings safe, we've had to invest in air filters and air purifiers and personal protective equipment. And so all of that comes with a cost. And so that's, in order to keep some of the young people that we even have back now, the reason why we've been able to successfully do that is because of those investments. And then finally, I will say we are very excited about our partnership with Recreation and Parks. Director Moore, the Mayor's Office of Family and Children, have really come alongside us, the Rec and Park team, and we've opened 15 student learning centers as of last week. These are in-person, in-school locations for students to engage in virtual learning. And at the same time, because we're partnering with Rec and Parks, I was out visiting last week, and young people have time for recreation. It was great seeing third graders out with socially distanced games and activities. And so we've had a really great response to that. And I will say, once parents are seeing that it's a safe setting and that we really do have things in place, they are very happy to be there. And we've got a really great response, and the 15 school leaders and even some teachers that have come back have just really helped get that off the ground. So I would say overall, all things considered, the good news is we're so much further along than we were in the spring, but we still know that it's challenging for families and teachers, and so we're continuing to give that support. So that's my overview for now. I don't want to go over because Shalonda is too kind, and Councilman, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Doc. We appreciate that. Let me jump into the next one, and I think you provided a good segue when we talk about everything that you've done around distribution of technical devices. It's almost as if you're a CEO and a CTO with your work this past year. But we know that, unfortunately, the digital divide is a reality in our city. One that, we have private companies who are partners of ours, like Verizon and Comcast, that are really working hard to bridge. You've been acutely aware of these challenges that remote learning poses to many of our students. And as you've mentioned, you've put together some really important programs to help. Can you dig a little more into the status of the laptop and hotspot distribution for students and families who lack computers and broadband access?
Absolutely, Councilman. And, there are many, including, yourself and other members of the council that have been very vocal about the need to make sure that all of our families have access to broadband, because in this kind of setting, that digital divide has just been exposed and widened, because now the only way really that most families can access learning is through the technological platforms. And so we've ordered about 55,000 devices total. As I said earlier, we've distributed about 41 to 44 of those, somewhere in that. We have some going out today. I think the biggest challenge with the device distribution has been some of the international trade disputes. Blocked not only our shipments, but other school districts who were waiting for shipments of devices. Our team did a great job in getting word of that early. And so while some districts will be waiting through November, we're hoping that most of ours will have arrived within the next week or two. So that is good news. I think the challenge is still getting devices to families that need them most, getting the word out. It's harder when you're not in physical space to reach everybody. So that is still a challenge, but we have members of the city schools team, that are going out, finding those families. The second piece with devices, I would say would be hotspots. And we've been fortunate, we purchased about 10,000 hotspots. We had a big announcement last week on actually Good Morning America that T-Mobile will be extending that initial contract for 5 years, which is absolutely exciting for us because we've been kind of piecing together 3 months here, 6 months here. And that announcement is very good news for us. We've given out about 6,700 hotspots so far. We still have more to distribute. About the extension of the Comcast Essentials package for families. So we're pleased with that, but there's still definitely work that we have to do to actually get families, everybody who needs one, a device. I think more and more, we've had some schools that have actually had on-site kind of accounting of where families are. We can do, we did a lot centrally, but really it's principals, teachers who know the families most intimately. And so I would just encourage folks, if you know of a family that needs a device or a hotspot, please let us know. I think the other piece, Councilman, is just what this is showing is the need for a long-term solution. We've talked a lot about that. I know you've talked about it, but we really do need to think through a long-term solution. I'm heartened, I should say, by the work that a partnership between GBMC, some local philanthropy, are really doing a deep dive now. And it's lovely when you get a phone call and people tell you, we're going to work on it so that you can focus on schools, which is, I love getting those phone calls. And so I do know that there's a lot of mobilization now around that issue. And then finally, I would say what we're finding is just the number of families who need assistance in navigating technology. It's one thing to give someone a device, but if you're not sure how to maneuver the device, if you're not sure where the space bar is or what it means to actually log on, let alone navigate between platforms, we're finding that is just as big a barrier. And I was at Graceland O'Donnell during the first week of school, and they had a line, socially distanced, but they had a line around the back of the building with families that had just come to the school for someone to help them navigate how to log on, how to log off. So I think when we think about digital divide, the first level is getting people devices, getting folks access to internet. But the second level, which we are finding is needs just as much support, is the technical expertise and support for families. So we're working on that as well.
Thank you. And I want to shift over to the budget. And I know I'll throw in a plug. It's not the most exciting set of city council hearings, but I chair our Budget and Appropriations Committee. And I know you'll be joining us next Thursday for an update. And to all our listeners, Dr. Santelises and her CFO are much more prepared than most agencies that we deal with at those hearings. So we're looking forward to that update that the City Council is going to get next Thursday. But as you know, Dr. Santelises, this pandemic has wreaked havoc on our budgets, everywhere from the federal government to the state to the local level. And that, of course, has impacted our school district. You recognize this unfortunate reality pretty early on. You wrote to all of your district staff about the need to impose a freeze on hiring and spending. Can you talk a little bit about what the current financial status is at city schools? We know that is something that is of great interest to everyone.
Yes, no, and thank you, Councilman, for asking that. And I will say I do, that the only good part about the budget presentation every year is that I know it's going to be you chairing. So it's so that's a plus. Well, and I think, as you said, and I would just reiterate, part of our charge is to make sure that the school district is financially stable as much as it is to make sure that we're providing robust educational programming. So one of the things that we've been really watching, and our deputy chief, Mary Ann Cox, has been doing fabulous work for a number of years, as well as Chris Doherty, who's our new CFO, came in and quickly put together projections in terms of where we were with our spending around just making things safe. So as I referenced earlier, cost of PPE, ventilation, filters, folks know about the challenges with some of our buildings. And so what that meant was we had to invest even more in making those spaces safe. The other place that folks should know is, while we were incredibly and remain incredibly proud of the amount of lift that we were able to provide to feeding young people and their families, it's still left, frankly, a large gap in the funding for our school meals program. And so that's another major cost that we were trying to make up. I think the good news is that while painful, and admittedly so, while painful, what the freeze is allowing us to do, both at the school and the central level, what the ending of our temporary employees contracts in many cases is enabling us to do is to actually help make up some of that gap for this school year. So I'm actually, I feel like we're in pretty good shape around meeting the, as long as we hold with some of the measures we've put in place, I think we're in pretty good shape for fiscal year 21. What you will see next week. And, I get a lot of questions from teachers, from families. Well, if we're challenged this way financially, how are you going to be able to afford what it takes to make buildings safe? And what I say to people is those costs that we are making up are the costs of making the building safe. So we prioritize that first. We've come back, and we know that there's a gap, but we're actually feeling pretty good about the fact that we can, make it through fiscal year 21, even with those additional expenses, in good shape. Moving forward to fiscal year 22, I will say across the state, we know that there are going to be challenges. We'll be waiting with bated breath, like many folks, this legislative session to see just where we are. And I'm sure many of the folks listening know that Baltimore City gets, a large percentage of our funding from the state. So we're going to have to see what the impact to the state revenues are. And another piece to watch is enrollment. We're just getting our enrollment numbers in now, but we do know that we are down in, for example, pre-K, and any decreases in enrollment mean a decrease in revenue. And so the inability to bring in pre-K students combined with families' concerns has meant that we're down on enrollment. And so one of the things that I know I share with colleagues across the state, this is not just a Baltimore City issue, but really a push for some legislative state level look at supporting local school districts during what was an unprecedented and very unanticipated decline in enrollment. So I will give a shout out to the Baltimore City delegation. They've been doing work already, getting that word out. I think Senate President Ferguson was quoted in the Sun last week, really drawing attention to this. So I would just tell everybody, I think for fiscal year 21, things are looking good. We have the money we need for PPE, and we're closing that gap, which is why we had to take some of the actions that we did. And for fiscal year 22, it's going to be a statewide issue, and we're going to have to, we're planning for that as well, because we do know and are anticipating a hit there.
Well, this is a great time to throw in a plug for two of our legislators that are so critically important to our school system, Senate President Bill Ferguson and Delegate Maggie McIntosh, who chairs the Budget and Appropriations Committee at the House, who have just been tireless champions for our city. And thankfully, we had some good news last week from the state comptroller that budget projections are up $1.4 billion.
Great.
So that's very helpful. As we look at how, when you talk about the restrictions that have been placed on, related to social distancing, not physically being in school, you look at all of the budget restrictions and everyone's, really put in a position where we have to tighten our belts. One of the things that you've talked about is a reopening plan, discussing the possibility of in-school instruction, health and safety conditions permit. I believe that you've committed previously to an update sometime in the mid-October range. Is there any, sneak preview you could give of that? Are we still on track for an update related to that?
Yes, no, we definitely are. We're on an update. One of the things that I think has been a strength of ours has been our ability to learn beginning in the summer. So when we brought small groups of students in person back in the summer, one of the things that was clear is we saw from the teachers that taught this summer, we saw from the families who did bring their students in the summer, one, that it is possible to safely open. It is possible to learn from the small groups. So we found out when teachers and families were comfortable. And when they were comfortable was when they could see the social distancing taking place. When they were comfortable was when they could see that the sanitizing was occurring. And that has also helped inform. We have a really tight standard operating procedures, which frankly, a lot of places around the country did not have yet. And we were able to put that together in consultation with our health advisory committee. So we check in with our own city health department. Dr. DeRaza returns my calls all the time. She's fabulous. And then we also have an advisory council. So our opening of the student learning centers last week, we had 15. Those are opening safely. I got a chance to get around, see them. We've actually have some teachers that are back teaching some of our targeted, frankly, most needy young people. We know students with disabilities are having a rough time, a number of them at home. And so I think the plan moving forward, what I would communicate is that we're going to continue with small groups. We are not going to have a mad cattle call. You know, I know some people like to categorize it as everybody's coming back tomorrow. I have done nothing to demonstrate that that is how we're moving. What we will be doing and what we will be announcing is additional small groups that will be coming back. We now have a greater target on our most vulnerable students. So we're staying with that. I've been fairly consistent with that. I have 2 middle schoolers who are not happy that they're not in the first round, who get to come back to a school building. But they know that we're focusing on our young people who are not connected virtually. And so we have space for them. And so what families will see in the next week or so, and, you know, I've been in close discussion with our board chair and vice chair about this. And, you know, we've been updating and doing the work, is that we do have standard operating procedures. We have done a lot of work to our school facilities. We've taken that into account. So what I would signal is folks should anticipate options for families to come back in small groups. Again, got a chance to visit classrooms with live instruction with teachers last week, just doing wonderful work, and everybody had PPE. Kids were not running around crazy without masks on. And we had the PPE, we had custodians sanitizing, but we're going to be doing it in a measured way. We're going to be doing small groups. We're going to be, we brought staff back. Our school secretaries are back. We have assistant principals that are back. We've had, matter of fact, we have schools that are doing, again, walk up guidance. We have one of our principals, Tamitha Woodhouse, had a frustrated mother come by with her special needs student, who she just, you know, and moms aren't supposed to necessarily be trained in every way to, you know, educate a child with disabilities. And she came up to Principal Woodhouse, you know, with the laptop, dropped her son off and said, I can't do this. You got to help me figure out how to do it. And I think a real testament to the folks we have in city schools is Principal Woodhouse, her team got together, really got that young person connected. And, you know, mom came back much calmer, happier, got her online. But we know that we're going to have to start bringing back, and we're going to continue to watch the health indicators. So as soon as, you know, our health commissioner or our health advisory council, you know, signals a different direction, we will respond to that different direction. But I have heard from many a parent and even some teachers. Again, last week I got a chance to talk to some, and they were in protective gear. They were fine. And many of them confided in me, they were happy to be back. So families will continue to have an option, but we're going to take it slow. We're going to be safe, but families should be alerted to announcements around small groups, and we will be starting, you know, with some of our most vulnerable students first.
Well, Principal Woodhouse is a rock star because she's a principal in the 11th district.
There you
And
go.
I'm pretty certain that Shalonda will agree with me. I don't know what they did at the health department. They must have cloned Dr. Jaraza, because she always returns our calls to the small business recovery efforts that we're working on. She has just been phenomenal throughout this. And as my absolutely amazing co-host Shalonda knows, every one of these webinars, I unfortunately, as much as I try to resist it, I go off script for at least one question, which I'm going to do now. Dr. Santelises, as you know, one of my favorite programs is the University of Maryland, Baltimore School of Social Work Promise Heights program, and just the incredible work that they do in the Central West Baltimore community, and truly impacting, quality of life and outcomes beyond education for our students and for their families. Can you talk about a little bit about how the school system has interacted with community school programs like that during the pandemic, and how that's changed a little bit?
No, and I'm actually glad that was your in the moment question, Councilman. No, because I think Promise Heights is a great example of what we're seeing across the city. And that is, if we ever wondered what the value of community schools are, this crisis has shown the importance of really providing kind of connected supports to families, and that schools can really be the hub of that work. So we've had our community school coordinators have been leading a lot of efforts to identify families who still have need for technology, still have need for food or housing security. Our community school coordinators are the ones who are actually able to braid, what I like to call braid the services, right? Kids are not just like who they show up to be on a Zoom screen or in a classroom, right? Kids have extended needs because they're part of communities and they're part of families. And so part of what our community schools have been able to do is really lift a lot of the connections to businesses, philanthropic organizations that do want to help. I run into people all the time who say, how can I help, right? I want to be there to support other Baltimore families. And our community school coordinators have done that, made medical connections. And I think really in a crisis that shows the interconnectedness of need and resources, they have just been at the fulcrum of being able to make those connections. So they have done everything from help staff food sites to do home visits to find students that haven't logged in. And then, they'll be helping to provide some of the ongoing assistance families need. So no, I'm actually really glad that you surfaced that question.
Oh, thank you, Doc. And I think this next question, this doesn't just apply to our children. This applies to all of us. We're spending a whole lot of time behind screens lately at our homes. And some parents and teachers have raised concerns about the amount of screen time required for students to engage in synchronous learning under the current schedule. How would you respond to that? What's your kind of train of thought when it comes to that?
So, could you just repeat the last part, Councilman? I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, we're spending a lot of time behind screen, and a lot of parents and teachers have concerns about that. How do we get through the whole day with our children? Not only our children, but our teachers staring at a screen all day. It's just not what they're used to.
Yeah, no, it really. So one of the things that we are emphasizing is, when possible, really, it's important for young kids to be able to have breaks, for all of us to have breaks. So I even make sure that I schedule a 15-minute kind of walk break, even if I've got a straight set of meetings, either in the office or at home. That kind of thing is important. I will push even my kids to go out, get a breath of fresh air. A lot of the parks are really important. It's why we're partnering with Rec and Parks on that note, because when we go through the student learning centers, what we see are young people just hungry for some kind of both human interaction as well as being able to just breathe, see a tree, get some air. And physical activity is one of the big concerns that I have right now. We saw a number of young people, even in the first wave this summer, who just, for a variety of very good reasons, safety, supervision, other things, were not being able to get up and move. And that is incredibly important. And then just to take a break from the screen sometimes. So I know that we have teachers who put packets together for kids with crayons and art supplies. We've got great partners, both at the museums and a lot of our everyday art partners and other folks who put different kinds of packages together. I just think that the big thing is to make sure that we're all taking a break and stepping away, that at some point you have to step away. For families, I would recommend, I was a strict mother on technology prior to March 15th, like a lot of people. I got lax because the world was just going crazy and kids needed to be able to do something. So, much grace if you had to do that. But I think sometimes it's good just to say, you need 30 minutes away. The other piece that families should look for is we have a group of teachers now, the Teacher Advisory Council, that are looking into what are the breaks even within a virtual school day. So without compromising instructional time, how do we actually build those breaks in to how school happens? And how do we look at the week and provide some kind of differentiated ways of interacting so that young people aren't just sitting in front of a screen all the time. Matter of fact, I was having bad headaches last week. And actually at one point thought, did I catch COVID? Well, it turns out it's the fact that I was sitting in a horrible seat, right, on a laptop, for hours a day. And I was like, oh, lo and behold, right, it does impact. So I would just say, one, prioritize the breaks. Two, when possible, really, really prioritize the physical activity. Even just a walk clears your mind, clears the fog. And for parents with younger children, families with younger children, it's okay to say, you know what, today we're maxing out right about here. And there's no need to necessarily push it. As kids get older, they're able to take more of that time and just look for some of the kind of deliberate pauses. And like I said, the Teacher Advisory Council are folks that are on the ground now who are saying, Dr. S, these are ways that we can actually improve and shake the day up a little bit so that kids aren't just sitting in front of a screen all day.
That's really helpful. I think that's some good advice for adults as well. So
True.
I'm going to shift back over to Shalonda. I know we have a number of questions from our audience.
We do. Thank you, Councilman. And I think I see you came in education ready with your wardrobe today. Is that what I'm seeing? A little Morgan shout out.
Oh, is that what? Well, hey, I'll always give a shout out to Morgan. I don't have a problem giving. Morgan has been good to me. So
Go Bears. Go Bears.
Go Bears with it. So thank you. I'll transition over to the questions that we've received so far. I do want to start off. Susan Carlin has consistently been making sure, not only with us, but around the city, that we make sure that we are providing information for those who are deaf and hard of hearing. And so I just want to thank her publicly for making sure that we had the link to include this in our webinars moving forward. So thank you to her. Dr. Santelises, we have quite a few questions I wanted to jump in earlier because you were already talking about it.
I'm sorry.
No, but I think it's timely. Our first one asks whether or not you can touch on what will be done to help kids who are falling behind. And they also ask if you can keep them up to date on the process, what the process will look like once schools are back. And so some of that, I know you said they reference in here an article from ProPublica that's in it, but it's really talking about those students who are left behind.
Yes, no, absolutely. And that is probably one of the topics that keeps me up at night when folks ask. So a couple of things. One, we really are looking to build out our tutoring core within city schools. And that looks a lot of different ways. The state gave some initial funding for that frankly runs out very quickly. We're looking for ways to extend that. So we have, for example, a great partnership with UMBC. Josh Michaels over there has done a great job in helping get undergrads. We're signing on other local college students to support with tutoring. The other piece that families should look out for is we have a number of our curriculum partners. So Amplify, which there's no reason anybody would need to know that name, but they help, they provide the assessment platform for our early readers. And one of the things that we are entering in partnership with them to do is provide more virtual tutoring for young people. So when we see that students have fallen behind, because frankly, for a lot of kids, being out of school since March is a lot of time. There's no shame in that. And so part of what we're also doing is exploring virtual tutoring opportunities, some that families can opt in on their own, based on their own choice, and some that will be embedded in the school day. So what we're hoping is as families become more familiar with the platforms, they'll be able to see where their student is and frankly provide some extra time and tutoring, and also get some online tutoring going. So tutoring is a big plug for us. The other piece is really thinking about how do we have those extended opportunities even within the curriculum for kids to make up some of the fundamental skills while not necessarily losing ground in where the curriculum is now. So we've worked again with teachers to think about what skills do we prioritize, how do we go deep on those and kind of carve away some of the others so that there's some reinforcing of those critical skills going on now. For our high school students, part of why we have Wednesdays that are heavy advising days is, and one of the the beautiful things to come out of this, a silver lining, I guess I should say, is that there's far more access to office hours for even our older students. So Wednesdays in the high school schedule are really a day for some of that one-on-one. And we're looking to see how we can spread some of that to the lower grades. So again, stay tuned for the parent back to school night where we'll have more information. But yeah, that's something that keeps me up at night a lot.
Right, and thank you. I would imagine it's keeping many up at night the same well. So thank you. I'm gonna transition. The next question, I'm gonna give you some air quotes because it's sort of the word on the street. But it's really coming from the notion or feeling that what's coming out of Annapolis, understanding that the Baltimore City Schools is managed by the state, what's coming out of Annapolis may not be in the best interest of our students. And so it's coming from that premise and then transitioning to say, so for parents who refuse to send their children back to school, under what may not be favorable conditions there, they're already struggling, things that were happening. The question is, what should Baltimore City parents do in that case?
Sure. So I think that there's a level that is the individual decision of families, and then there's a level that at least I'm inferring also from the question around what do we need to be advocating for? And so at the first level with regards to families, families are not going to be required to send their children back. I mean, and I've said that from the beginning. Families have different circumstances. It is a very personal decision. I don't know of many school districts, frankly, that are open that do not have a virtual, and this is nationwide, a virtual option for families. And I have said from the very beginning, there will always be a virtual option for families. So that's one piece. The second, on an advocacy level, I do think some of it ties to, the question Councilman Costello asked earlier with regards to costs and budget. PPE costs. Air filters cost. That was not part of our budget. And I think, to reference the question, if your child was in a school without air conditioning, right, before the pandemic and you're worried about air quality, right? You're sitting there thinking, well, wait a minute, if there wasn't air conditioning, well, I knew that too, which is why we had to invest in air purifiers. And we knew we would have to target the buildings that did not have air conditioning because of that. So I think at a state advocacy level, the reality is these precautions cost. They are not cost-free. And the older your buildings are, the older your facilities are, the more it takes, right? It's not just the change of an air filter. It's some of the additional precautions as well. It's not just about a mask, right? We didn't get extra dollars to install plexiglass for our school secretaries at the front desks. We did that. So there is a level of, family push, parental push, community push. I think we've seen it even in the mobilization around broadband, which for me has been a great example. You see student groups mobilizing, you see parent groups mobilizing, community activists organizing. And I think similarly, we need to let the voice be heard. And then on a very individual level, we will maintain a virtual option for parents who just say, based on our situation, and where we are, we're not going back in person. So we will still have that. I will also say what we are finding, and this was true with our student learning centers, we had small numbers to begin with, but as people experience the space as being safe, we are finding an increase, and word gets out, and an increasing number of families are. So we also want, we have just as many families who should also be heard, who are saying, my child needs to be there. And so we're really trying to manage both.
Which is good. Thank you so much. This next, I have a question, and then later on, we also have a solution to that question. But this one comes, technology was given to those who need it first. When will you provide computers to others? Her son has been using his personal computer. Of course, it's older now. It has a lot of wear and tear on the personal device. And then later in the chat, we have Tiffany Majors from the Urban League, who also stresses, and I know they've been giving out laptops as well, that there are other partners like the Urban League who have computers available and have done that. And so I know she lists, and I'll ask our team to put her contact information in the chat as well for people who are in need of computers as well.
Mm-hmm. No, it's a great question. And prior to COVID, we had a ratio of one device for every 4 students. And so that is kind of a long range, that's a fairly significant gap. We have covered a lot of space, a lot of ground within that. And what I would say is if to any family where there's a great deal of wear and tear, you can still reach out for a computer. If it's not working and you need a device, absolutely you should reach out. We prioritized families who were in greatest need initially, but what we will do is based on demand, we will continue to make those purchases. We kind of stopped at 55 initially, one, because we knew the supply chain was being hindered a bit, but also to wait and see, right? We still have at least another 10 to 11,000 computers. So I would encourage anyone, I thank you. And I think that's it says a lot about the person who asked the question, that they started their child on their own computer because they wanted families in greater need to have it. But we're also at a point now where even if there's wear and tear on your own computer, if you want a school-based device, let your school know. And that will help us keep up with the count of what we need to purchase.
Thank you so much there. The next question really focuses on a little bit what you talked about with the hotspots and some of the things that the school is doing. In this one, the guest talks about how they work in regulations and technology communications, and there exist solutions to supplement neighborhoods and schools that suffer from the technology challenges and the spottiness of hotspots. So they're asking, is there a contact there that they can reach out to where organizations can help address and scale some of this? Is there somewhere in the school system?
Yes, absolutely. And it's a combination of our IT team and our family community engagement and communications team. So Tina High Hubbard has been doing really amazing work, she and her team, um, to make some of those connections. We have a mesh network pilot that's running as a result of kind of a similar offer. So I would absolutely reach out to her. She can connect you and anybody else who wants to be part of the longer term solution. What I've said is we really have 3 stages, Shalonda. We have this initial, how do we get families through the school year now? How do we have an interim solution? Because we're going to be in some kind of virtual space, probably for the next 18 months. And then long term, what is our solution and approach to give access for everyone? So we have partners that are kind of queuing in on one of those 3 phases where they think they can provide the most assistance, but always appreciate those offers. Absolutely.
Wonderful. While we're there, there's also requests for people to volunteer and help tutor. There's some resources that are on here, but people say they want to help. And, you know, maybe this is a way. I know we talked about the student teacher ratio. There's a question that talks about any way of increasing that, understanding the challenge. So, you know, can it be bundled in? Can we tutor? Are there some other things we can look at moving forward there?
No, and that's a great question too. Definitely, if you're interested in tutoring, Dr. Tracy Durant, who's not in the office right now, and again, Chief High Hubbard are both have both done a lot of lift in our tutoring partnership. So if you're interested in tutoring, again, reach out to them. And we are going through, as you noted, Shalonda, other community-based organizations who are providing tutors. Our universities, colleges and universities have been great, but if individual, you know, Baltimore City community members want to get involved, I would reach out to them. And we really are, again, working in ways that we can make those connections so that one-to-one time really can be accelerated. So kudos to anybody who wants to get involved through tutoring.
So thank you. You've gotten through the bulk of the questions. We have one other comment, and this is just for anybody on the line who may be laid off. They say the Mayor's Office of Employment is available to assist those individuals and can connect through their website. And so with that, I think we've gotten through the bulk of the questions. I cannot thank you enough for your time. I know, Councilman, you may have a few other words that you want to say. And then Dr. Santelises, if there's anything else you'd want to say before we close out.
Sure.
So Councilman, you first.
Thank you, Shalonda. Yeah, Doc, we're so grateful to have you doing the work that you're doing with our school system. You've been doing incredible work. We know that you have your fair share of challenges, but you have faced those since your time in Baltimore with nothing but grace, and just really appreciate you. So thank you. I'm looking forward to seeing you at the Budget Committee next week, and learning more about where things are headed. And again, just really appreciate you. Back to you, Shalonda.
Thank you. And I appreciate, we're all in this together. I mean, the budget is impacting us all. And so we know that together for this, we're stronger. And so anything that we can do to show support, we want to continue to do that. Talking about support, that's not my way of transitioning into our Clean and Safe initiative down here at Downtown Partnership. We have a renewed really focus on keeping downtown clean and safe. And next Tuesday, we will not have Downtown Download, but we ask, especially for those who have been participating regularly, that you come out and you join us from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Here, we'll make sure that we put the link to sign up in here. We have t-shirts, we have fun, we're cleaning, and at the end, we also provide lunch. It's a way for us to really help and support all of what's happening in the city. We recognize that a number of the team members from DPW came down with COVID. Our team has stepped in, the community has stepped in, businesses have stepped in, and so here's another opportunity to volunteer. So we hope to see you there. on that. As always, this webinar, along with others that are up, we've had some, some other amazing guests along the way. You can find that on our website. Please visit godowntownbaltimore.com. You can also follow us on our social channels. So we look forward to seeing you there. Please continue to stay connected with us. We have really some great guests that are coming up. Councilman Costello, can we give them a teaser about what's to come on the 20th?
Let's do it. Absolutely.
So you want to drum? I'm a drum roll. You give the lay of the land.
So on October 20th, we're going to have Congressman Sarbanes joining us. And then we've got our October 27th episode already scheduled. We'll save that one for the 20th. And we are also working very closely with Congressman Mfume's office to get him in the future. So we're gonna keep steamrolling with the momentum of the hashtag downtown download.
Hashtag downtown download. So with that, it's 10 a.m. We're gonna sign off. We'll see you next week at our cleanup, followed by some other downtown downloads. Visit us online, godowntownbaltimore.com. See you, and thank you so much for tuning in.
Thanks, Doc. Appreciate you.